This is Lenora Dawson, and this is my day, typical day for me in the life of campaigning and working full-time and being a full-time mom as well with a 16-year-old, and life is just busy. So I'm excited, and I am excited to, I gotta go this way? Okay, all right, that's fine. Someone's giving me directions, forcing me to go someplace I don't want to go, but that's okay. That is their duty. So this is beautiful Baltimore you see in the backdrop, and we are just taking a ride, taking care of some business. Before I picked up my friend, I actually took a tour of the constellation today, and during that tour I was a guest on the show. The show is called Top of the Morning. There were two great co-hosts that co-hosted me. We had a lot of interesting things to talk about, great things to talk about. So I'm really excited about that.
And we're excited because Lenora Dawson is our guest. Welcome, Lenora, to the Constellation. How do you like this wonderful ship?
Thank you. Actually, when I came in, I got a little nostalgic because as a little girl, I remember touring the Constellation. The only difference is now I have to duck from the deck.
Well, I'm excited that you're able to bring back those wonderful memories.
Yes.
You know, it's a phenomenal resource right here in the inner harbor that I believe is underutilized. So we're excited to be here today.
Yeah, I think it's great for the kids to come and tour because there's so much history here on the boat and just in Baltimore in general. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's important that we know our history and preserve our history. And I'm really excited that they have maintained this ship after all of these years.
And I understand that you're going to get a tour of the ship.
Yes, and I'm really excited about the tour.
So, Lenora, I understand that you are running for a political office this season.
Yes.
And so that is awesome because they love to have dignitaries come and be able to tour the ship and get a better understanding so that when they assume office, they can help represent what the Constellation is all about. Right. So tell us about it.
Well, I am actually running for Clerk of the Circuit Court, Baltimore City. It is a citywide race. I'm very excited about the run and looking forward to coming in and doing amazing things administratively. And
the cannon just went off. Yes. This is real live TV people. The cannon went off behind us. We just heard it. So don't be scared. It's okay.
And that cannon fire was just validation that I'm going to win this race.
There we go. I agree with you. I agree.
Then we toured the boat, which was a really good and nostalgic experience for me because I remember going on tour as a kid on the Constellation. And back then I could walk below deck and it wasn't a problem, but you know, right now I have to bend over a little bit, so that's a different experience, but that's all good.
So she's the last all-sail warship ever built by the U.S. Navy. Doesn't have an engine, will never get an engine. Not part of our story. So she does rely entirely on her sails, which is why she's got an average crew of 320.
Oh wow,
Yes.
That's a big crew.
It is. It takes somewhere between 120 and 140 men just to be able to turn the sails, so that way we can actually go a direction that the wind isn't blowing. You need to be able to do that 24 hours a day, so that's the 320 number starting to seem a little bit more plausible. Our helm here is what actually steers the ship. And one of the things that I always think is interesting, that in movies, it's always the captain who stands and steers the ship. The captain has better things to do with his time. Yeah. So it's usually somebody that just is on sort of what work. Most of the time you're just sort of standing there, holding place. We're going to go east, so we're going to hold it there for a while. So it's usually just somebody that person on the crew. You'll have a navigator standing next to them, I don't know where we are, who will tell them, yep, still going east, or we have to change directions because of the wind, or wherever it is we're trying to get to. But the person who's actually steering it doesn't really sort of.
And you know, I had no idea that it would be this big.
Yeah!
And because I'm so tall, I'm going to stand next to it just to give people a point of reference.
But you can touch it. You can actually, yeah. It spins a little bit.
Oh, and it spins a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's huge. Wow.
Keep in mind, the front of the ship is stuck.
Oh, okay. So actually the back of the ship.
It is. You steer
So
from
I
the
would stand on this side. You steer from the back. Would you stand on the other side? Wow, this is like
Well, that shot's not as good because the sun's behind you.
Oh, okay.
But the other shot was good.
this is wow. And from here you really get a perspective of the length of the ship. From here, how far that is. No, why
So it's typically the timing, so you ring every half hour. So it rings midnight, ring at 12:30, so on and so forth. Ring it one more time each time, so it's like $1 and then $2 and $3. Just so that way the crew can tell what time it is, because we're mostly a Civil War ship and people don't really care pocket watches. So that makes sense. You got a quote, please.
Oh. We do everything in threes.
Libby?
Thank you so much, Libby.
Thank
for giving me a
you.
tour. I'm grateful. I appreciate it. This is a great experience. And I toured the ship. I took a great tour of the ship. I learned a lot of things about the ship I didn't remember, of course, as a kid from elementary school. But they have very fascinating history about the Constellation. Well, we are actually on Gay Street right now, and we're going to the courthouse. That's where I work. I am finishing up my lunch break. So I have to get back to work and get back to business. And then after 4:30, I will pick up and start running again. I have 2 events to attend. Tonight I'm going to attend a couple of debates and go out and talk to some of the voters. I will not be debating. I will simply be a spectator, but I love taking those opportunities to just go and have conversations with the citizens of Baltimore to find out what their needs are and how I can help them get to understand behaviors, how people who have suffered from cumulative trauma react to certain situations, how the perception that exists within this country. So there's so many things that we learn from learning our history, and I think the Great Blacks and Wax Museum does a great job in terms of displaying it. And one thing that actually stunned me the first time I walked in was how true to life everything is and how realistic it is. And it's almost like when you're having the tour that you can feel the energy of the time. So I think that it's important that families and parents take their children and go themselves.
Yes.
Because a lot of times I have conversations with adults and they don't know anything about their history. And schools just don't teach history at the depth and level in which they should. As a matter of fact, Jules, I just took a tour and I'd like to share it with you. Let's take a look.
So imagine a 6-year-old child being expected to pick 125 pounds of cotton. But that was how they began to buy the slaves. And when they were sold, if they were in that category where they were going to work and make money, then you didn't want them to die. Many of them would decide that they would starve themselves. Those are all true. But of this person, but through fear you got control of everybody else. Now you have a system. And so, again, the purpose of these bills is bringing out fear, actually. You're still fighting, however, and so you needed the ultimate punishment, and that was the iron mask. And many of you've read perhaps the man in the iron mask and so forth. These kinds of devices were used mainly by the Europeans as a form of relief. And being a history resource, we've got children to save. So we're going to go into the slave ship.
Wow.
It's a very powerful piece.
Indeed, and I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about the Great Blacks in Wax Museum is the fact that they tell the truth. They do not sugarcoat our history. And they want people to really understand, and you can't help but to have a visceral reaction when you see the atrocities that we had to endure as a people.
I think so often people want to tell people what they want to do for them, and they don't know what their needs are. So my objective is to meet the needs of the citizens of Baltimore City, and the only way to do that is have an open and honest dialogue about what the problems are. So as your clerk of court, I plan to be not only transparent and accountable, but responsive.
I would like you to introduce yourself first, and then we'll talk about you.
Yes, my name is Lenora Dawson, and I'm running for clerk of court, Baltimore City.
So, tell me about Lenora Dawson.
Well, I am a native Baltimorean, born and raised. I did my undergrad at Morgan State University. I did my graduate work at University of Baltimore. I majored in applied psychology, conflict management, and negotiation.
Okay.
And I am also a certified mediator.
Oh, okay.
So I worked in private sector for many years until about the past 10 years I came to city government. So I am an administrator in Baltimore City Circuit Court. I work for the sheriff's office as the aide to the sheriff. And I own my own small business. I also work with people who are victims of trauma, maltreatment, and neglect in my spare time. That's really my labor of love. That's my part of giving back to the community, as well as a lot of other community work. I previously sat on the board of directors for Advocates for Children and Youth because I love children, so I think it's important that we advocate for those children. And that's, I guess, just a synopsis of
Well, aside from that, we want a little more of the background of you, what kind of things you'd like to be involved in, what is your hobby?
Oh my God, my favorite hobby is reading. I love books. I love to travel, but I also love books. My son, I have a 16-year-old son who's at Polytech. He also loves books. So, and now pastime, we love to travel, to read books. I love to mountain climb, and hike. A lot of people don't know that. Yes, I used to also practice Tai Chi, and I used to compete in Kung Fu. So I have a very eclectic background in terms of Oh, certainly. I'm a native Baltimorean, so I love this city. I have traveled abroad. I've traveled around the country, outside of the country, and I always love coming back home. Because one thing I noticed about Baltimore is forever evolving. You know, we are always going through some type of evolution. I think for the good. While a lot of people look at us as a problem city and think that we have systemic issues, we have a really great sense of community. And that's the thing I think that keeps me connected to the city. You know, growing up as a little girl, growing up in an environment where community was very important, and we worked as a collective body, and we took care of each other. We looked out for each other, and some of that still remains. So that gives me hope. That gives me hope in terms of the citizens being more connected and working as a collective body. I think think that there's power in compassion and cooperation. I think that this is a clear example of when we work as a collective body, we can accomplish anything. And I think that so often in the society that we deal with the ego and the self so much, that we don't understand that when we actually assist others, we empower ourselves. So I'm excited. I love the story, and I hope that it will catch hold, and people will continue to pay this forward, and to understand that I don't have to blow out your candle for mine to blow out.
No, that's right.
Well, this story reminded me of a conversation I had with my son probably about 6 or 7 months ago. And something came across the television or the news about climate change. And he turned to me and he said, "Mom, the issue is they just really don't care about us." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "The people who are making the decisions won't be here. They won't be around. I'll be here, hopefully, and my children. They just don't care about us. In the future, everything is about profit." And my son was 15 at the time when we had this conversation. So I think that a lot of our young children and young people are understanding that they have the power to step up and help to push and promote change. They understand what's at stake more so than some of us in terms of adults, and they care because I think we have children that are more evolved in terms of being more connected to the planet and understanding, and the bottom line is we depend on the planet to sustain our lives. Yes. I mean, that's the beginning and end of the conversation for me. Yes. We need it in order to exist, and to not be responsible and caretakers of the planet for future generations is just totally irresponsible. So this movement, as well as the others with young people, I'm excited about their passion. I'm excited that they understand that as a collective they have such a powerful voice and they can implement change. So I'm watching, I'm excited, I'm supporting, and I am certainly encouraging them to do their work.
Yes. Excellent.
We're passing City Hall right now. That's why where a lot of your resolutions and bills are put in, and budgets are approved and passed, and and also I would encourage people to become engaged and start coming to city council meetings and having conversations with your elected officials and telling them what you need and holding them accountable and all of that good stuff. But you have to get involved. Like, don't check out from the process.
Very large as well, including the 30,000 that showed up in Atlanta. So but the question for us this morning is, with the whole March for Our Lives movement, do we feel that this whole new activism spearheaded by young people can really neutralize the NRA or make a difference?
Well, I work for a law enforcement agency, and I am totally against teachers having guns in school. I think that people don't understand the training that's required when you carry a gun. We also have to have conversations about implicit bias. We have to deal with the narrative that's been perpetuated in terms of people of color, and the fear that people have, and the self-induced fear they have when they interact with people. So I think it's so many things to consider. I think that it absolutely should not be considered. I think with the exception of Baltimore City, every other county in the state of Maryland, they have school police or resource officers that are armed. And these men and women are trained professionally to do their job, because when you're in a situation where you're confronted with a gun, you just have no idea how you will react. And we cannot put that burden on educators. Their job is to educate our children. So this is Baltimore City Circuit Courthouse. This is what you're seeing now is Courthouse East. That's on the right side of Calvert Street. When you're coming up Calvert Street, I actually work across the street in Courthouse West. as the aide to the sheriff. I've been there for 10 years, so I'm very proximal to the clerk's office and interact with them quite a bit in terms of paperwork, because we serve quite a volume of paperwork ourselves that come from the clerk's office. We also have an accounting department, and the bills, the court fees, come through us, so we process and collect those. So there's a lot of interaction with us, and we provide security for Baltimore City Circuit Court. So you will see my beautiful men and women in brown uniforms in the Baltimore City Circuit Court, who's always willing to help and assist you. And if for some reason somebody's having a bad day and that's not the case, just call me.
I want you to share with our audience what your platform is and why do you think that they will want it?
Well, first and foremost is I'm a woman of integrity. I think that in city government as public servants, you need to have people at the helm who are people of integrity, unapologetically.
Very important.
That's very important. I believe in transparency and accountability. I think that we deal with a lot of systemic issues that we deal with because there's very little or no accountability.
So this is the square, basically. Hopefully it's not one they're going to pull down, so.
No, I think that's going to stay forever. I don't think they're going to pull that down. And this is Courthouse West.
So this is where you're working.
Yep. I'm going to park the car if I can find in front because I have VIP parking, and then I'm going to run on in and get started with my day.
Pleasure to actually have you here today on the ship. And
Yes,
Thank you.
and so we spent this morning talking to Lenora Dawson, and I think we've gotten some wonderful nuggets from Lenora this morning here. We've learned something that probably most people didn't know. She has been in this area flying a kite before the Constellation was even docked here in the Inner Harbor, right? That's something we learned. That's something we learned. So we are grateful for you being with us, Lenora.
Thank you so much for having me. I
You're
appreciate
most
it.
welcome. We wish you well.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you come back. You all take care, and please tune in for Top of the Morning.
So thanks for hanging with me. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.